Hi, I'm Casey Harrison, Director Emeritus of the Center for Communal Studies here at the University of Southern Indiana. And I'm speaking with Erik Freeman, who is the 2021 recipient of the center's Research Travel Grant. The grant provides funding for research in the Communal Studies collection housed at the university's Rice Library. Erik, can you tell us about your academic background, your interest in communal studies as a field, and then also the research project you conducted in the Communal Studies collection here at USI?
Yeah, sure. So originally I am from Utah and attended Brigham Young University, which has, right, of course, a deep tradition with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which has kind of a deep background in communalism, especially during the 19th century, which originally got me interested in the topic of communal communal societies and and Mormonism. And so when I decided to go to graduate school, I earned a master's degree at Brandeis University, where I defended a thesis on a Mormon convert, actually the first prominent Mormon convert from France named Louis Bertrand, who was a political editor for the Icarian communists, who were also who are a group of French radicals who tried to instill multiple communal societies in the United States, including one where they actually purchased the entire abandoned village of Mormons in Nauvoo, Illinois. And so my thesis followed Louis Bertrand's life in France as an Icarian to his experiences in Utah as a Mormon, and then back to France again as a mission president. From there, I enrolled in a PhD program at the University of Connecticut, and at the University of Connecticut, I wanted to continue this this same project, looking at the role of Mormonism within this larger communal societies in the United States and outside, right? Transnational communal societies that end up in the United States. And to do that, I wanted to look beyond just somebody like Bertrand. And so for my, ultimately what I'm writing a PhD dissertation that follows four prominent early converts from outside of the United States that all belonged to different communal societies. So the first figure that I'm looking at is somebody named Jacob Zundel, who was the first German-born convert, but also a founding member of the Harmony Society and the followers of George Rapp, who settled, of course, in New Harmony, Indiana. And I also look at a Chartist who is close friends with Owenite socialists in Scotland named William Gibson. And then I also look at a Fourierist who settled in Mexico City named Plotino Rodacadanti, who was the first Mormon convert in Mexico City and also is considered a pioneer of Mexican socialism. And so my dissertation project looks at the different threads of multiple communal societies that end up with the Mormons in Utah, or at least in the Mormon West, which extends all the way from Canada to Mexico. And for my project in the Center for Communal Societies, I looked at I specifically wanted to look through the documents of the Harmony Society, which are housed, right, the Harmonist papers, which are housed in the center, as well as the Karl Arndt collection. Karl Arndt was, I believe, a German professor of German language at Clark University in Worcester, Mass, and had written, tons on the Harmonists. And his personal papers were available in the center as well. And so those two collections were more than enough to give me kind of the deep grounding in the first German Mormon convert, Jacob Zundel, who was part of the Harmony Society, to be able to compare the Harmony Society with early Mormonism. But also the center was great because they have smaller collections on various other communal societies. One that I found really helpful was that they had a collection on the Icarians, and the collection on the Icarians was interesting because I actually was able to find a secondary source article that was in which was just in a newsletter for Icarian Society that was written by Jacques Rancière, who's a very prominent French philosopher who was writing on the Icarians and wrote this big book that I actually have here, right? Proletarian Nights by Jacques Rancière. But an article that I had never seen and I don't think was published elsewhere other than in a newsletter that was sent to various, academics interested in communal studies. But there are tons of packets and pamphlets like that that were actually really helpful in situating the historiography of communal American communal societies in general that I found really very helpful in the center for me to really progress on my larger dissertation project, which I hope becomes a book someday.
And Erik, you were the recipient for the center's research travel grant. Could you talk about how your interest, how you applied for that, and any advice you might have for other young scholars interested in the field of communal studies?
Yeah, so the grant was really helpful. It provided funds for me to travel to Southern Indiana, which is a place that is not somewhere I'd normally trek, living in Connecticut and having roots in Utah. And so the funds were extremely helpful. I was told by members at the center, what was helpful about my application was also that I was well aware of what was in the collection when I was applying, and knowing the sources that were available, to know that I could come in and actually undertake the research necessary. And my advice would be to apply to these things. I actually applied twice. The first time I was not granted the fellowship, the research grant, and then the next year when I applied again and looked at it, and as my research progressed as well, I was able to think, oh well, this will actually be very helpful. But I was able to stay. Right, I was able to actually stay in New Harmony for a couple nights while visiting the collections, because I applied right again and was actually able to do it. And I mean, I know in the past a lot have been professors or more senior scholars that have received the grant, but I would encourage younger scholars too that are really that can find kind of rich history of American communal societies, but also the beginnings of international socialism, I think, are also something that a lot of people should think about the center when applying.
Thank you, Erik, and good luck as you complete your dissertation. For more information about the Center for Communal Studies and opportunities for research related to communal studies, please visit the center's website at usi.edu/liberal-arts/communal-center.